Now let's talk about some different types of depreciation that you should be aware of when you're trying to, again, determine value for a property you might be trying to buy or sell. And this kind of, and if you recall in the last session when we were talking about the cost approach, we have to depreciate, right, for some stuff. Y'all, there will be some depreciation, certainly when it's not a brand new property. And this is some of the types of depreciation you want to take a look or be looking for. And the first one is just physical deterioration. Now, obviously, that picture you see on the slide is a little bit overboard, I guess. But y'all, when you don't maintain the property, it's going to depreciate. Y'all, it's just wear and tear. You can only use stuff for so long before it's no longer usable if you don't maintain it. Sometimes you got to replace things, fix things. A lot of homeowners do a very good job of that, trying to maintain their property. Other owners, they don't maintain things at all. Things will break and they just say, well, you know what, I don't use it that much anyway. I'm going to leave it the way it is. Well, the problem is usually when things start to not function properly and you don't take care of the issue or fix the issue, it usually will cause other areas to start wearing and tearing and y'all just causing more problems. So y'all, the longer you wait to fix a problem, usually the more expensive it's going to be to fix it. Right? So, you got to pay attention to that, the wear and tear. Deferred maintenance, sometimes you hear some people refer to this issue as deferred maintenance. But anyway, another type of depreciation is called functional obsolescence. Now, first of all, what does obsolescence mean? If you don't know, you need to know. It just means depreciation. And when we're talking about functional obsolescence, that means there are things about the property or about the house that just maybe when the house was initially built, that was what was common, that's what people wanted, they preferred. But today it's just not considered very functional. For example, the open floor plans, that seems to be the big deal nowadays that buyers are looking for. We want a wide open floor plan. So you walk into a house and you got a lot of rooms and they're all shut off, narrow hallways, and that could be considered today a functional obsolescence. There could be any number of examples of that. But if you're looking in this picture, do you see, I'm sure you've noticed by now while I was talking, anything looks strange about that picture? There's a toilet in the kitchen. And that's real. That's not photoshopped, I don't believe. I was told by the person that shared it with me that was real. So, most people would not consider that very functional. Might work fine, but it's just not very functional today. But to give you some more common examples of a functional obsolescence, let's say you got a 4-bedroom house, but there's only one bathroom. I will tell you, for just about everybody, that's a functional obsolescence. If you need 4 bedrooms because you got that many people living there and you only have one bathroom, that's going to be a problem with the functionality there, right? Maybe you've got a 3,500, 4,000 square foot home, but it's only got 2 bedrooms. Believe it or not, those exist. Seen them, appraised them before. Again, somebody buying a 4,000 square foot home is probably going to expect or need more than just 2 bedrooms, right? So again, that might be considered a functional obsolescence. But so hopefully that gives you an idea what functional obsolescence would be. But then there's the external obsolescence. External obsolescence just means there's something external, outside of your property. Has nothing to do with your property, not on your property, but it will cause your property to depreciate in value. There's any number of things that could be an example of that. Maybe your house is very nice, but it happens to sit underneath or very close to the runway at the airport. So you got a bunch of planes flying over your house day in and day out, day and night. I will tell you, for most people, they're not going to like that. Maybe your house backs up to a railroad track. You got freight trains flying through here again day and night. In fact, most people are not going to like that. Again, it's got nothing to do with your property, but because people are not going to want to be around that, that's going to hurt your value for sure. Maybe your house sits very close to a major highway or interstate. There's just a lot of congestion. I'm telling you, people are not going to like that. Most buyers, anyway. In fact, I get asked to appraise houses all the time that are on like 4-lane highways. They're right on the highway. Obviously, if it's a 4-lane highway, there's going to be a lot of traffic, a lot of congestion. Be hard getting in and out of the driveway for sure. Most people are not going to like that. They're just not. And I hate it. And these homeowners that ask me to appraise your house in this situation, it's like they don't get it. They don't understand that. They don't like the appraisal I give them or the valuation I give them. And they may have a really nice home, but because of where it's sitting, I'm telling you, most buyers in that situation would not care for it, so that's going to hurt the value. So these are just examples of external obsolescence. And so those are your main types of depreciation you need to be aware of. Just the wear and tear. How well does the owner maintain the property? If you walk in and you see there's carpet, but the carpet is tearing up. It's way past needing to be replaced. Obviously that's the first sign of a homeowner that's just not maintaining the property. So you're probably going to have quite a bit of depreciation for wear and tear. But then you got to look for things that might be considered functional obsolescence. It's just not very typical today. It's not what buyers are looking for today. So that's going to hurt the valuation. Obviously, external obsolescences, what's going on around the property? Your next door neighbor could cause you problems here, right? They don't cut the grass, they don't maintain their yard, they don't maintain their house. I'm telling you that kind of stuff is considered an external obsolescence, and that's going to cause you some problems, at least in terms of value. And as a real estate agent, you need to understand this stuff. Otherwise, you're going to be overpricing listings. That means they're not going to sell. And when they don't sell, it means you wasted a lot of time, more than likely a lot of money trying to get it sold. And basically, you've listed something you can't sell. Okay? Now, the last thing you really need to understand about depreciation is that, some depreciation is curable. You can fix it. You can eliminate the depreciation. But some of it's incurable. You just stuck with it and you've got what you got. But for the most part, if it's considered a functional obsolescence, more times than not, that's curable. You can fix that issue. If you had the 4-bedroom with 1 bath, obviously that would be a functional obsolescence, but potentially you could more than likely add another bathroom and cure that problem. and so forth. So, y'all, more times than not, functional obsolescence is curable. Y'all, it could be fixed. But if you've got an external obsolescence, y'all, that's typically just out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. And if you're the buyer and you buy that property, you're stuck with it. And I'm telling you, this happens all the time, where buyers will buy property because they love the house, for example, maybe in the yard perhaps. But they don't realize some of these issues, that are external to them until after they've moved in and lived there for a little while. And now they hate the place, and they're going to probably let you know about it. So if you're a buyer's agent, y'all pay attention to stuff like that. Sometimes we just don't notice because we're so focused on the house itself, we're not paying attention to what's around us, right? So sometimes you got to make your buyers and sellers aware of these different types of depreciation. Obviously, it's going to have an impact on the value of that property.